Hello there. Gurdjieff often taught the novice students exercises to identify within yourself the three different types of minds that we have. The sensing of the physical body, the feeling of our emotional feelings, and of course the mentation of our mental functions. So I was just cycling around on my bike and I was doing this, and I will explain how I do it. I think the feelings are easiest to do if you generate inside yourself some beautiful warm feelings. For instance, the slow appearance of a warm sun at sunrise in the summer, that feeling of warmth, or picking up a young puppy in your arms, and those loving feelings. Where do you feel that? Where do you feel that? Scan inside. Do you feel it in your legs? Is it a kind of thought in the head? Scan inside until you find it. Now maybe this will take 100 goes to do. That's okay. It can be like that. The next thing is if you generate thought, for instance, if you say inside your mind 1 elephant, 2 elephant, 3 elephant, then you just carry on like that and try to observe yourself doing it. Where is the thought happening? All the time, although you're silent outwardly, in your mind you're saying 1 elephant inside your mind. Where is that happening? Is it happening in your hands? Is it happening in your chest? Can you detect something changing inside the head? Can you notice that it's not in your legs, but it is happening in your head? The next thing is in terms of sensing the physical body. I find this the most difficult of all and the most unaccustomed. But how I do it is, as I am cycling, I feel the frame of the body moving, almost like I'm an animal with 4 limbs, splayed on the bike, and I'm locomoting down the road, and I can feel my limbs moving. And then I try to sink further inside to the intelligence that is moving it, to feel the mind that is moving the body. Now, this is a little difficult to do. And what I can be sure of, if I scan my chest, I can see that it's not coming from the chest. It's not a feeling, emotional feeling. No, it's not coming from the chest. And it's certainly not coming from the head. When I move the body like an animal, it's not coming from the head. It's not the same as thoughts. And if I gently feel my back, I can feel something in the spine. It's almost like a centipede with the center being this long spine and these 4 limbs coming off it. And the center feels like it's controlling it, meaning the spine is controlling it. So you can compare backwards and forwards. Is it in my legs? Is it in my hands? Is it coming from my head? And moving backwards and forwards many times until you are sure. That is how to do it. That is how to do it. Move backwards and forwards, saying, is it here? What can I feel? Now, I know what the problem is for most people. They cannot believe that they could actually experience these minds inside themselves and locate them, because they have never been inside their physical structure. They live in the hunting mind, in the ordinary human consciousness, and to actually experience a location inside your body that is doing something, that is almost like a shock, that you can actually experience who you are. And most people won't even believe it, so they won't even try properly. I'm sure if you speak to most fourth way students, they'd say, oh yeah, I know, I read it, emotions come from the torso, the head does the mentation, blah, 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 blah. They won't actually look, because there's something inside them is very scared. Something inside them is very scared of actually, and not playful. So you have to be half playful and half dead serious. It's an unusual combination. Like I said, the real barrier is that people do not know how to navigate inside of themselves. They are so used to living in this kind of floating, vague, misty world that people live in, this unconsciousness, that they could never really believe that they could know something solidly inside. If you want to experience the moving center that moves the body, most people, I think, will just say, oh yes, I can see my legs are walking, therefore I'm in touch with the moving center. No, you are not in touch with the moving center, you're in touch with your legs. You're in touch with the physical body. Or not even that you're in touch with it, but that you notice that your legs are moving. So you have to go from the out in. So you notice your legs are moving, then you have to sort of feel the whole frame of the body, the whole structure. Right? The torso, the forelimbs, the head, it's like 5 limbs coming off, and feel yourself like an animal again, like a tiger. Yeah? Take that posture of a tiger and you feel the whole frame of the body and you're breathing. Now then you can feel the whole body and you're starting to be inside. When you feel like an animal with your claws, then you're starting to be inside the body. And then you have to carefully reach back further into who is doing the movements of the body. Where is that gait coming from? As you cycle or you walk, there's a certain gait, there's a timing, there's somebody who's doing it. Who is it that's moving the legs? Where is that coming from? This requires a lot of sensitivity and careful sort of inner reflection, experiencing the inside of you whilst you reflect on, you sort of target your inner reflection. It's very important because serious work requires careful discrimination of what's going on inside of you. The spiritual path isn't all about poetry and metaphors and talking about salvation and how great your teacher is. You're actually supposed to develop skill inside. And there's something else here which is about generating feelings, learning to do that. How can I generate sad feelings? Well, remember something sad. Or you can remember a warm desert or a freezing cold pool. That changes your feelings. And how can I start and stop a thought stream? To start a thought stream inside your head, you say rhinoceros, 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 and then you stop. And you can start and stop thought consciously. And there's another thing which is, this isn't really part of the Gurdjieff teaching, but as you feel the moving center, meaning the intelligence in the spine, you feel it in the spine, you can try to merge into it. And you can also do it with the center of feelings. With the center of mentation, well, you can always try, but it might get messy. Later, you will have to merge with the sense of identity in the solar plexus, and Gurdjieff gives various instructions, and that is the location of resolution of the subconscious real I. Now there's another question I had today, which is a very important question, which is, what is the origin of the many eyes? And how I understand it is that they are like a many-headed hydra. They are temporary crystallizations that have occurred above the shoulder as the energy of life has ascended too high and created a fragmentary identity that has got some sense of identity but sees incorrectly and is a fragment, and that energy has to be brought back down into the torso for the being to develop normally. Many ideas about sacrifice, giving your life for others, refer to the process of speaking to the Hydra and try to convince it to sacrifice itself, so that that energy is recapitulated into the torso, and that the energy is removed from the many eyes, and so that the being can grow normally from the center, which is very difficult. It can be a difficult thing. It requires a kind of faith in the heart to do that, because the facets of the Hydra, the many eyes, they often wish to stay. They often don't really understand why to go back down, or to who they need to sacrifice. They feel quite separate from the rest of the organism. That whether that happens deliberately or through some other mechanism of the tradition, that is a very important thing. The many-headed Hydra of the many eyes creates the mad world that we live in. Firstly, because it creates people who operate in a fragmented way from different heads of the Hydra and make very bad decisions that are partial and dangerous. And some of those heads are not only partial but insane, or do not understand anything apart from themselves. So distant have they become from the body of the organism, from nature, from tradition, from physicality. Those hydras are drifting away into outer space, and they can be very dangerous. That's where psychopaths and psychopathic ideas come from. You know, the disturbance inside a person who has different senses of identity at different levels of consciousness and so many fragments. That's a very painful way to live. It's a situation which requires great care to resolve, and great compassion and love, because people do suffer very badly, I'm afraid. The suffering and confusion is of such scale that it may lead to extinction. So you could say, return to the heart and grow from